Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. May all the peace and blessings of the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of us. Now I want to do that theory, that is the final theory, that is the potassium ion theory, and its mechanism of opening and the closure of the stomata, and what criteria, what principle does it use to achieve it validate the opening of the stomata at day and its closure at night. Let's delve together. Now, during the day, the gut cells photosynthesize, producing glucose. Now, this glucose is metabolized, or rather is broken down through the process of respiration to yield energy. And that energy is stored in the form of adenosine triphosphate, ATP. ATP is a universal energy molecule found in all living cells and is stored in chemical form. We basically say that during the day, photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplast found in the cytoplasm of the gut cells, producing glucose. This glucose is metabolized, or rather broken down, through the process of respiration to yield energy. This energy is stored in form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate is a universal energy molecule found in all living cells and stored in a chemical form. Let's continue. What follows next? Now, the energy ATP is used to drive out potassium ions from the adjacent epidermal cells into the gut cells. Once the potassium ions are pumped out of the adjacent epidermal cells into the gut cells using the energy obtained from the metabolization of glucose, the osmotic pressure of the gut cells is going to increase. Guess what? It's going to draw water from the neighboring adjacent epidermal cells. It becomes turgid, bulges outwards, and the stomata opens. Done. Let's go to the next one. During the night, there is no photosynthesis, meaning there will be no glucose produced, and therefore this translates that there will be no ATP formed, and as such, potassium ions will not be pumped out of the adjacent epidermal cells into the gut cells, and therefore the osmotic pressure of the adjacent epidermal cells will be higher as compared to the one in the gut cells. The gut cells will lose water to the neighboring adjacent epidermal cells, shrink, become flaccid, and the stomata closes. Done. Now, let me clarify the three theories and what criteria they are using. Number one, we talked about photosynthetic theory. Photosynthetic theory was basically using the glucose being produced during the process of photosynthesis, and it was osmotically active and therefore drawing water. And at night, when there is no photosynthesis, the glucose will be converted to starch, osmotically inactive, losing water, closing the stomata. Glucose. Day, night, starch. Osmotically active, inactive. Let's come to theory number two, the pH theory. Carbon dioxide used up. Carbon dioxide used up. Used up. Day. At night, carbon dioxide accumulates, CO2 accumulates. And we know that when carbon dioxide is used up during the day, it raises the pH and the solution, and the condition becomes alkaline. And this favors the enzymes to catalyze starch into glucose, which is osmotically active. It basically uses the carbon dioxide use up and carbon dioxide accumulation at night, where now the acidity increases, and as such, therefore, the glucose, the starch will not be converted to glucose and is going to lose water, become flaccid, and the stomach closes. Lastly, we have the theory of potassium ion theory. This one uses the ATP energy as a driving force pump that pumps potassium ions from the adjacent epidermal cells into the guard cells during the day. And at night, however, the potassium ions will not be pumped out of the adjacent epidermal cells simply because glucose was not formed. ATP was not formed as such, and therefore there was no energy to pump out the potassium ions from the adjacent epidermal cells, therefore making the adjacent epidermal cells to be having higher osmotic pressure as compared to the guard cells, and as such, therefore, they are going to lose water, shrink, become flaccid, plasmolized, and the stomach closes. Wish you all the best. Have a nice day. Thank you.